Hi everyone, my name is Ashley and this is a day in my life as a full-time artist. This particular morning my shop dog Wookie had her act together way before I did and was waiting on me quite a while in the car. When we finally got to the store, I had a few cow paintings that had been drying from the day before, and the first thing I did was move them out of the way to start some new projects. I had some wood bowls that had been stained a few weeks before and were finally dry enough to seal for overpainting. My first task was to seal the bowls so that any discoloration from the wood would not come through my paint colors, and then I started working on the first layers of color that resembled a night sky. As those were drying, I moved on to restocking some hand-painted magnets for the store, which I create using small 2-inch canvases. I painted a line of evergreen trees on each small canvas, and I'll be honest, I have a hard time stopping something like this when I can see the blank canvases waiting ahead of me. I will literally force myself to finish every single one, even if my hand is cramping and I can barely feel it. I did pause the camera here and there to help some customers, but I did power through 30 little canvases in one sitting. Once I had finished all of the trees on the canvases, I put them on a shelf to dry for a while before adding a second layer. I had some packages to drop off for UPS, and since UPS does daily drop-offs at my husband's store, I decided to walk them down to his place. He has an outdoor store and tap room called BC Outdoors right at Town Square, and it's great working right down the street from each other. You can see why we always run into each other getting lunch. I just dropped off the packages and didn't see Brett, but as I was leaving, I guess he'd been in the back and heard my voice and came out to hug me. He's the best. I was getting hungry at this point and went back to grab Wookie and headed to the Raven's Fork food truck to grab lunch. It's been so hot here recently, but thankfully it was an overcast day and the sidewalk wasn't too hot for Wookie. I'll be honest, most of my anxiety in the summertime comes from people walking their dogs on the hot pavement, so I had these signs made personally and I put them all over town. As I was eating lunch, my daughter, who had the day off of work, decided she wanted to make a pot roast for us for dinner, so I helped her find a recipe and gave her a few tips. After I was finished with lunch, I got back to painting the wood bowls. I also added hanging hardware to the back of each bowl and then started painting tree lines against the night sky into each one. After the tree lines were done, then I added a moon and stars to each bowl as well. I use white chalk to sketch out quotes on each bowl before committing. It helps me visualize where I should start the lettering on the side of the bowl, and once the lettering's dry, the chalk can easily be wiped off with a damp rag. And here are a few of the bowls that I finished just before a final coat of varnish. I had an idea recently to start some paintings using only leftover paint from each project on any given day, but that I have to consistently do this on a single canvas for 30 days. And this was the start of 2 of them. Here are a few that are a little farther along, and each painting is numbered on the back so I can keep track of the days that they've been worked on, and I'll know when I get to 30 days. Some of my favorite pieces are ones that I've been challenged with constraints on like this, so I'm excited to see how these turn out after 30 days. My next task for the day was framing this small graffiti piece that I had finished, and first I had to glue in some spacers. Next, I attached the frame from the back, double checking that my screws were short enough so they don't accidentally go through the front of the painting. Using screws that were too long is a mistake that I've only made once, and now I'm extra careful so that it never ever happens again. Around late afternoon, I had a quick tiramisu break and then sat down to hand letter 30 Bryson cities onto my hand-painted magnets from earlier. Once the lettering was dry, I signed my name to the back of the canvases. Then I added a dab of glue and then these small scientific magnets to each one. Then into the drying rack they went. Then it was time to close up for the day, but I knew that I still had some work to do at home in my home studio. Max took a little time to wake up when we got home. I mean, he is 84 years old now. My husband usually lets him out midday, but sometimes he just wants to sleep. I'm sure that the beef stew had woken him up as well because the house smelled amazing when we got home. I had some orders to pack up and mail from my Etsy shop, so I headed down to my basement studio to work on that before dinner. If you are interested in my print organization and packaging, you can check out episode 3 of my Day in the Life series. I have a system that works really well for me as an Etsy shop owner and makes it really easy to pack up orders quickly and consistently. After I packaged up orders, I then pulled a bunch of prints that I needed for store restocking as well. Before dinner each day, I also always try to get in a 30-minute workout, either strength, Pilates, or yoga, and I have a few YouTube favorites, including Fit by Mick because she has no repeats. But let me know if you have any fitness channels that you like on YouTube. I'm always looking for new ones. Then I still had some outside stuff to do that included watering plants, throwing the ball for a Wookiee, and checking on our chickens. Here is some art that I've done in our yard as well. Four of our chickens are 9 years old, so it's basically a chicken nursing home these days, but they do still lay a few eggs here and there. After all the chores were done, Sienna showed me the beef stew that she had made for dinner, and I was so impressed. Then it was time for dinner and Netflix, so I called it a day. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, please like, comment, and subscribe if you would like to see more.